welcome to Third Wheel, the show where we discuss anything that we want to talk about, and one person will more likely contribute less to the discussion than the other two. That person is then dubbed the third wheel and the other two will proceed to make fun of him for it. The third wheel of the last episode will then pick the topic of next week. I am your host, Steven, and I am joined by my hosts, Brandon and Grace. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey there, I would like to just say before we start a very special thank you to our sponsor, SPCA, for pledging that if we get one view within the first 24 hours, they will put Steven down personally.
I was not aware of this.
I made a few emails, called a few people.
That makes me really uncomfortable, actually.
It's our first sponsorship. I didn't want to be too picky.
We are not sponsored by whatever Grace said.
SPCA.
Nope.
Best animal killer
Nope.
in the country.
Nope. No, we are not. Anyways, welcome to Third Wheel. We will never stay on topic, even if we try to. And I was last week's Third Wheel, which also means that I get to pick the topic of this week, which happens to be one of my personal favorites. But before
because it's the only thing you're good at.
I'm not even good at it. I'm very unsuccessful at it. Anyways, the topic of this week is simping, and it's something I'm very familiar with. But this, to make it, broader, as far as bringing in more stories, more memes, and more embarrassments, it's anytime someone has simped, period, a story of simping, whether it was you, whether you know of someone, or whether it was someone simping for you. We just want to hear those simping stories, and it's funnier if they were just completely unsuccessful. But before we get into the discussion, it's just, how are you guys doing? How's life?
I relearned how to solve a Rubik's Cube, so that's cool.
You relearned how to solve a Rubik's Cube?
Yeah, I at one point knew a few years ago, but then it just had been so long, and then, I mean, when I first learned, it took me a whole day to learn, but just since it had been a while, like, it's really weird. It's a whole muscle memory thing, so it only took me like 20 minutes to relearn it, just because it's weird, like, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's just weird muscle memory stuff.
Well, yeah, that works. I have the same Rubik's Cube I had when I was like 12, and I accidentally did one of the algorithms that is really cool, and I haven't touched it since because I was so proud of accidentally doing that algorithm.
All right, one crippling ADHD-infused conversation later, let's get to our topic.
Oh, I was going to ask you about how life is outside of the fact that you want me to be put down like a dog.
Personally, pretty fantastic.
I thought I ruined it by not being put down.
Yeah, but before that.
Well, it's good that there's still a silver lining to this conversation. Anyways, topic again is simping.
All I'm going to say is I will reschedule you being put down on the European calendar.
No.
Well, that meant he would have been put down already.
I don't know, but We're moving on.
And silence. Anyway, again, topic is simping. Will we discuss it? That is up in the air at this point. Okay. But to kick us off, and I feel like this should be a new thing that we start, because we did it twice on accident, and I think, this would be the second time. I'm going to make it an official trend thing that we do. The third wheel must also initiate the first story of the topic, because obviously they wanted to talk about that topic, so we should hear about their inspiration first.
I'm fine with that.
Cool.
I'm paying attention. What was the question?
I said I'm gonna instantiate a new rule where the third wheel of last episode, they also have to bring the first story to the table.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Well, it's like a sample story.
Yeah, there's a reason they picked that topic, and so they should be the one to tell their story first.
Yes. Fair enough. Cool.
That is the rule. And since I was the third wheel, I have quite the story for you guys. So
fantastic.
This story, to give you guys some context, took place a little over a year ago. it hasn't been that long since this story happened. I'm hanging out with one of my friends who, yes, I am simping for incredibly hard, and I'm going to emphasize how hard I was simping for this person. It was basically to the point where, like, they live relatively close to me, so I made it my mission to, constantly be around the house. I was trying to be around this person as much as I can and do whatever I could in whatever manner and hang out with this person as much as I can. And we're gonna continue the Brandon trend of just using letters, and this person's name is now S. So yeah,
Nice.
I'm trying to, like, really simp hard for this person, and it's obviously not working. And I'm just trying to, like, hang out with whatever, but I'm getting friend zoned, like, incredibly hard. Like, I don't think I've ever been friend zoned more in my life at this point. And so I was like, hey, I live in the mountainous desert that is Nevada, and I live near a lot of those mountains, but a lot of the mountains other than the Sierra Nevadas are just dirt hills, and I live really close to a really big chain of hills, and so I go four-wheeling and all that stuff, off-roading, and all that jazz out there all the time. And I was like, hey, hey S, you wanna join me? You wanna join me one of these times? We can go riding. I can show you my cool spot over by the river, being really weird and creepy. I was like, I can show you a really cool spot that's by the river, and we can go off-roading. I have a Jeep, and we can go in the Jeep. And she was like, oh yeah, sure. Can my friend come, because they kind of got situations at their house and don't want to be there? And I was like, oh yeah, yeah, sure, why not? Have them come. That would be great. And I was originally going to just be like, nah, it's what's gonna happen is actually we're just going to go on my trike, which, if you guys didn't know, it's the three-wheeled ATV, hence the name trike. But the only reason was because it was technically an automatic. So how most ATVs and stuff work is that they're quote unquote manual, where you have to, like, change gears and whatnot. But some have clutches and some don't, and the ones that don't, those are automatics. In
Right.
that world,
My brain stopped working, and I thought you said asthmatic, and I got
those
so
are
confused.
asthmatics.
You just gotta bring an inhaler whenever you go somewhere with them.
Oh no, you just start going really fast on the bike, it just stops, and it's like, wait, I need to breathe. I need a minute.
Okay, anyways. So yeah, I was just like, hey, yeah, I'm just going to have the both of us ride on this, because her arms will be around me. I simp, he cool. Like a fucking idiot. Anyways, that the trike is relatively small. It's meant for one person to ride it. So that wasn't going to happen. And my parents were like, yeah, no, you're not gonna do that. And now that the friend was coming, I was just like, all right, well, here's how this is gonna work. I'll figure out a way to, like, I don't know, figure something out, because it was up in the air on whether or not her friend was actually gonna come. It was just the, if she does, is that okay kind of situation. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Um, so beforehand, I was just like, okay, well, I can't take the trike, but my dad has a quad. We have two quads and a trike, and one of the quads is a manual, and the other one, like, basically doesn't work and would not survive the journey. So I was just like, all right, I have to learn how to ride a manual now. And I was with my dad, and I was just like, hey, Dad, can you teach me how to ride this? I wanna go riding with S. And S had been around a while, and my family knew of her and whatnot. She had hung out with us occasionally, been around. So he was just like, yeah, sure, I'll teach you how to ride it. And I was on the quad with him, and he was driving around, and he was, like, switching gears, whatnot, doing it flawlessly. And I was just like, okay, well, it doesn't seem that hard. And so he was like, we drove back into our driveway, and and he was like, all right, I'm gonna hop off and you try it now. And I was like, okay. Okay. Let me try this. And one thing I will say is that whoever invented the the whatever it's called, the gas thing, where you turn the handle and that's what starts,
Oh,
giving
yeah, I know what you're
power to
talking.
the engine.
The
Whoever
gas
made it,
outfit, yeah.
yeah, whoever made it that way is a fucking idiot. I hate you so much because the concept of having your handlebar turn and that's what like starts your engine and gets your vehicle moving is kind of absurd because you have to turn the handle towards you in order to get it moving, and for it to slow down or like stop, you have to let go of the handle. What? Who decided that letting go of the handlebar of something that can go up to 45 miles an hour with no seatbelts was a good idea? Yeah, so how this works, if you guys don't know how like manuals on ATV works, you have to hold down the clutch and then give it a little gas and then switch gears all in like one fluid motion. And if you don't do any one of those right or out of order, you will either stall your engine or the thing will just kind of like not move or break. Um, and I understood that concept. It was relatively simple, like to just step on the clutch, give it a little bit of gas while I change gears. Like it didn't seem that bad. And so I was sitting in the driveway, and it was in neutral, so it's not gonna move or anything. And I'm giving it a little bit of gas, uh, stepping on the clutch, trying to change gears, and the clutch just gets stuck, like, and the clutch is something you step on, so I pressed down on it just with the tips of my feet, and it just got stuck. It didn't come back up, so I was like,
Oof.
dad, it's not doing anything. And now to set the environment of where I'm positioned right now, I have a very long asphalt driveway, and I have a family of 6. Each one of them has their own car. In this driveway there's a there's a van because my dad is a distributor. There's a deputy sheriff's car because my sister is a deputy sheriff. She also has her car. Then we have my mom's truck, and then there's also my brother's truck parked in the distance. I'm in front of my brother's truck and all the other cars are in front of me. And the clutch gets stuck, and my dad was just like, well, step on it again and it'll get unstuck. And it did. But instead of going into first gear, it went straight into fourth. The
Oh
A
no.
the ATV immediately went on 2 wheels, popped a wheelie, and I am hanging on for dear fucking life. But get this, because I'm hanging on to the handlebars, I'm holding the gas down all the way, because if I
Yup.
let go, I'm going to get run over by the ATV. And
Yup.
so I'm on 2 wheels, holding on to both handlebars of this ATV, heading like probably 40, 50 miles per hour straight at my sister's squad car.
Oh
And I'm
no.
like, oh shit, I can't fucking hit that. And I swerve out of the way at 50 miles an hour. I fly completely off the ATV straight into my dad's van.
Oh.
And as I'm falling down, the ATV sandwiches me into the van, and I fall flat on my back onto the asphalt as it sails off into my neighbor's yard across the road.
Oh
And
no.
I'm laying on the ground. My dad, all I hear, because I'm wearing a helmet and everything, and
Yeah.
I'm wearing like athletic sweatpants, and a hoodie. So I was actually pretty padded up, even though it was in the middle of summer at like 80 degrees outside. I'm pretty padded up. And my dad, all I could hear through the sound of my own days, the engine of the ATV going like 40 miles away the opposite direction, and just, the echo of my hollow, empty skull because I just smashed my head into a van, is my dad go, oh. That was his reaction. And he ran over and was concerned, but like his voice like didn't sound concerned to me. And I'm just laying there like flat on the ground. Can't really move. I'm just like flat penciled on the ground, laying there. And my dad's like, "Are you okay? Do you think anything's broken?" And I was just like, just my pride. I sat there and I looked up at him with my helmet, and I was just like, I can't get up. Like I hurt. I am in pain. And my dad was like, "All right, well, let me go get the ATV first. You stay there." And I was like, "Where do you think I'm going to go? Where would I move? I can't move." And he wheels the ATV back. And he puts it back inside, and he goes and gets my mom, and my mom comes out and has like a visceral reaction to her child just laying on the asphalt after flying into a van. What was funny is that like the way my body hit the van was that all of my body hit that van. My helmet hit the window, but everything else hit the body metal of the van above the tire. Is how high I went off the ground into the van. I didn't crack the window, like break the glass of the van or anything, which it makes zero sense because I hit that window with a helmet on incredibly hard. Uh, but the only thing that happened was that, well, one, I was successful in avoiding my sister's squad car, but the ATV, after it sandwiched me into the van, it clipped my dad's bumper and just kind of like dented it, like if you punched it. It looked like there was just a fist imprint in the bumper of my dad's van. And I had completely destroyed the headlight of that ATV. It was like leaning over, and it has like a metal frame cage around it. The cage was all dented in and down, and the headlight was just basically broken. And my mom comes out after just being like, "Are you okay? Can you feel your legs? Can you do things? Can you move?" After like 5-10 minutes of me just laying in the road, I'm just like, I think I just need to lay here. You guys just need to give me a second. Like I just need to just like lay here." And my mom looks me dead in the eyes as I'm laying on the ground and goes, "Well, your brother's almost home and he needs the space, so we need to move you."
Dang.
Wow.
Dang.
Horrible.
I'm like, okay, fine, okay. And they help me up, and I'm just like, oh god, okay. And I couldn't feel my left leg, period. I just could not feel my leg at all. I stood up, and my right leg was kind of fine. It had been scraped because I just fucking landed on the asphalt. But my left leg, I just felt nothing in it. And I stood up, and they practically carried me. And I go inside, and they're gonna like wrap me and whatever, and I'm like, yeah, no, I can't bend. I can kind of bend my knee, but I could tell that like that engine had hit me in the leg and had been there long enough, or just hit me with enough force that all of that friction just burnt my leg. And when I went to get wrapped, the entire underneath of my knee, so as soon as like your knee starts up above to like just like an inch or two below your kneecap, the whole backside of my knee had been burned all the way, like a 1st degree burn all the way there and on the sides of my leg, because I got hit right there in my knee. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's fine. And after, like an hour of having alcohol poured on my leg and whatnot and all this other stuff, I looked at my dad and went, never again. I don't want to ride that. I'm gonna go with S, and we're gonna get in the Jeep now. After almost having my leg taken completely off, I still got in the Jeep, and we still went to wherever.
How long ago did you do that from the time that you crashed in the ATV? Like,
what do you mean?
Like, when did you go with S to the river? How like, what was the time?
As soon as my leg got wrapped.
Like it was
maybe 5 minutes after my leg got wrapped. Maybe 5 minutes after.
Somehow I thought that story would involve, a woman more.
No.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Okay, but hang on. We get to wherever, and her friend.
Oh, it's not even done.
No, it's not done. No.
I thought you were done.
No, absolutely not. That was just the introduction.
Oh my god.
So like, yeah, I wobble. My parents are like, dude, don't don't go. And I was just like, no, I have to. It has to be done. And so I wobble my broken ass into the Jeep. And most Jeeps that are built for off-roading are, elevated off the ground to where you have to like step up and get into them. The
Yep.
way I crawled into that Jeep from basically the ground up was so funny to me that I was in so much pain because of it. I was just like, I'm such a fucking dumbass as I crawled my broken ass into this Jeep. And I drove over, picked both of them up, picked S up and her friend up, and we went to the river. And I'm sitting there, I'm doing whatever, and like we get to a spot to where like I don't know, I don't really want to push the Jeep past it because it's kind of rocky at some points, and when it gets rainy, all of like the really sharp rocks like start to be uncovered, and so I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna leave it here. And I get out of the car and like I'm able to walk fine and do whatever. Like I'm kind of wobbling because I'm wrapped, but other than that, I feel perfectly fine walking around. Other than yeah, just the burn. And so I had told her S's friend that I was gonna be like, hey, I might ask you out, kind of thing. And so she was just like, all right, bet. And then we got to the river and I almost fell in.
Oh.
we walked up to the shore and it's not that deep, it's not that fast, whatever. Like but it had just like had like a high tide for it, which is kind of weird cuz like that's not really a thing for rivers in Nevada. They're just kind of low all the time cuz it's hot. And so it was a little muddy and slippery and whatnot. And it was a little bit downhill and I slipped and started sliding down. But because my leg was in so much pain from the way I slipped, I almost just accepted fate and went straight into the river before I got like stopped by friction. And I
Ooh.
looked up and I was just like and just in agonizing pain. And like I slowly walked over and it's very evident that I'm limping and whatnot. And I think I know and S's friend had stayed back so that I could like talk to her in private. So after the fact, she just like I could only imagine her perspective of basically S lifting me up on my shoulder, like lifting me up, holding me up over her shoulders as I'm crippledly walking back to the Jeep after she was only aware of the fact that I was gonna like try and ask her out. No, she just after that watched me, a broken man, just walk back to the Jeep, like basically hanging off of S, and, and
Oh.
was just like, what happened? And I was like, I slipped, I fell, I hurt, and and like that, yeah. And then we drove back. Right, and I dropped them both off and whatnot. And I went back inside and my mom was just like, so how'd it go? And I was like, I made mistakes. I've made errors. I did bad things. And so after all of that, I wake up the next morning and I can't fucking move my leg. My left leg just refuses to move. From the hip all the way down, I can't move it at all. And I'm still in high school, and so I'm just like, uh I can't go to school. I physically cannot. Like it's not possible. I could not walk on that leg for another 2 weeks after that because I decided to walk on it right away. I could not walk on it for another 2 weeks. And then it took me another 3 weeks to walk without, another 3 weeks after that to not be able to walk without like support. I was out of school for 2.5 weeks because of that incident. All because I wanted to
Jeez.
be able to drive on an ATV with S that whole time. All of that ended up with me trying to just go on an ATV ride with S. Instead, I ended up with basically a broken leg and being out of school for 2.5 weeks, not being able to walk normally for almost 2 months and and still unsuccessful.
Dang, dude.
I've never been in a situation where I like tried to do something so hard or learn to do something to be like I don't know impressive or whatnot.
I
But
like how you didn't go to the hospital.
No, I didn't. You'll notice
Hey.
that with any story where I get like hurt, I just don't end up going to the hospital ever. The hospital is a
Love that.
forbidden place for me.
Just
Yeah.
to clarify, is this simping stories in general or simping stories that have failed?
In general, just let's call
Okay.
out the simps and make fun of them because I sure made fun of myself.
Okay. I can honestly say I don't have a lot of stories. I was raised as a heavily independent woman, never really like actively sought out relationships, never really had any crushes.
Never really needed
I remember
no
I used to have
man.
to lie about having a crush. I would just randomly pick the first boy I saw in my class, tell my friends because they thought I was weird. So I was like, that guy right there. But
I don't know his name, but him over there, blue shirt man. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So like I don't have any really good examples of me simping over people, but by God, have people simped over me. I can honestly say there's no one truly funny story that stands out like yours, Steven. That's just kind of tragic. I don't even know what to say to that.
I definitely set the bar with that one. Yeah.
Literally
I
just
did.
got maimed. I can honestly say people give me a lot of free stuff. Like anywhere from friends to like guys that like me and or want to date me. They just like give me stuff.
I
And
thought you were gonna say that you get like free friends.
all right. So I can think of like one example off the top of my head. So I got bored one day and I was like, I'm gonna make a Tinder account. You know, like not like a legit one. Like it was oh my god. So it was based off of like these 3 pictures of rats I found off the internet. And my rat's name was Priscilla. Basically my bio was something along the lines of like just a rat trying to make it in a man's world. You know, basically really staying on theme. And yeah, and then personally proud of my occupation as a stay-at-home cutie, as I should. Yeah. So essentially, I got a lot of weird mixed responses from people, because for all of you viewers at home, I originally lived in the Sacramento area, but for college, I am currently in like the Bay Area, in the Sonoma, Napa Valley area.
Is this recent?
This was I want to say 2-3 months ago. Yeah, so this is a very very recent example.
Oh my god.
And so essentially a lot of the interactions I had were basically along the lines of like, hey, have you ever seen this movie called Ratatouille? To which I respond with no, and everybody saying I would really enjoy it because it's about my people.
Your people.
Yeah, it was like,
seems like there's so much wrong with that.
yeah. I mean, I kind of let it go because I was a rat, but I'm like, this is weird. So essentially, weirdly enough, a lot of people from like the Berkeley area were hitting me up, but there was one guy in particular who was literally like 10 minutes away from me, right? He was 10 minutes away. I wasn't even looking at locations. I was honestly having the time of my life judging the crap out of people. I thought it was really funny. But this one guy looked cool. He was like a photographer. He's in the Air Force. Really, really cool. And so I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I swiped right on him, and after like tons of conversations, essentially he was like, I have no idea why I swiped right on you. And I was like, okay, thanks. I was like, okay, thanks. I was like, hello to you too. And he's like, he's like, yeah, but I remember in high school, for whatever reason, I don't remember what team it was on. I want to say tennis, but it was some sport. But his entire team worshipped this rat, and he like And then, yeah, he was kind of telling me about that. And Tinder recently, I guess I didn't know this. Tinder made changes to its platform. You cannot send photos to each other because, I guess a lot of nudes were being sent, etc.
Yeah,
And so this
that's
guy was
understandable.
like, "Hey, I would definitely be down to like send you photos, whatever, of like us being dumbasses on the team, whatever." And honestly, I didn't really care. Looking back, I don't know if this was a good idea. I gave my social media to like 3 people from that Tinder account, and you know what? I have no regrets because they're really cool, fun people that I ended up being friends with. But essentially, yeah, so I gave him my Instagram. He sent me the photos. We were talking about like all sorts of things, photography, whatever. And then the next day he hits me up and he's like, "Hey, so would you be down to go out sometime?" And it was obviously a lot more smooth than that. Like, he was really, really smooth. I'll give him that. And I was like, "Bro, you're really out here shooting your shot at Rat Girl." And he's like, "Hell yeah, I am." And so, me being kind of an asshole, I didn't want to be like, "Hey, I know I'm on Tinder, but I kind of already have a boyfriend." So, essentially, I was like, "Nah," without mentioning it. I was like, "Nah, maybe we should get to know each other better, hang out or something first, whatever." Vaguely shutting it down without coming off as an asshole. But essentially, yeah, we talked more, and essentially, I want to say a week or two later, he's like, "Hey, so I'm gonna ship out in like a month. He's gonna be like deployed to the Air Force. He's doing great, by the way, but he's currently deployed now.
Well,
But
whoever
at the
you
time, he
are,
wasn't.
thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Yes, but essentially, I haven't known this man this long, but he's essentially like, "Hey, would you want a free touchscreen monitor?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, none of my friends want it, and my parents would throw it away. So, do you want it?" And considering I've only known this guy for like 2 weeks, I totally could have been murdered. But I was like, "You know what? I don't think I can pass up on this opportunity to get free stuff." So I was like, "You know what? Down. Hell yeah. Give me the stuff, man." And so essentially, I was originally supposed to meet him like 20 minutes like into town or whatever in like the Santa Rosa area, which is about 20 minutes where I'm from. And yeah, essentially he was like, "No, I could just meet you on campus if you want." And I was like, "Saving money on gas, hashtag material girl, hell yeah."
Oh my god.
Oh.
Again, I thought about it and I was like, my campus is a very public place. It'd be very hard to murder me. So I was like, you know what? That might even be for the better since I know people in the area. So yeah, he just like gave me the monitor and I was like, "Oh, cool." And we just started
Oh.
talking and he was like, "Okay, bye." And then he left. So I just got a free monitor
Oh.
just because a
Oh.
guy was into me for
Just
like no
because
other
you,
reason.
just because you were like a side character from Ratatouille.
Yeah, no, literally, just because I decided to be a rat for a day.
You were an extra. You were in the
You
background.
were an extra.
But that's like one example of the time someone has given me free stuff just because they think I'm hot or cool. I get a lot of free stuff.
Imagine.
And you know what? I'm never ever gonna complain because I am so cheap. I hate spending money. I can like spend money on my friends, but then if I have to like debate between starving myself or spending $15, I have to like I'll do it, but I have to stop to think about it and debate my options. Do the math
Right.
on when's the last time I ate and when's the next time I will eat.
No, I feel that though, but that's also because yeah, I'm budgeted. Like I have only a certain amount of money that I actually can't spend. So like I understand that.
I think my weird thing is people have simped over me. I get a lot of free stuff, and I don't like mean that in like a gold digger way. I never ever ask for it. People just offer it to me, and I'm like, free stuff. No free stuff. And it's kind of an easy decision to make. I don't know. I kind of just feel like an asshole. Just because I feel like I'm not every single guy, but a solid 83% of all of my male friends have had a crush on me at one point, And so I feel like at a certain point, I just got really, really cocky and assumed like everybody was gonna have some sort of feelings for me at some point, and I was like, I just gotta be super straightforward, super honest. So yeah, my life's been pretty cringe up till now, imagining how many guys have probably thought I'm really weird, just being like, so me and my boyfriend, yeah, really, really enunciating that there. But
No,
I can honestly say I still got it. I recently went. I can. It's not all in my head. I can say that for a fact. I went clubbing last week for the first time. For all you out there about to turn me into the police, it was an 18 and overnight. Which, honestly, is such a bad idea. I cannot tell you how many men offered me alcoholic drinks in that bar, even though I was not of age. I mean, a lot of guys. And I will just say this. Going to a club to dance is literally the adult equivalent of peaking in high school and wanting to relive your teenage dance experience. I went there, and I swear to God, it was mosh pit everywhere. Only like there were no chaperones to tell kids that they couldn't freaking grind on each other. I swear to God, the amount of men that literally came up behind me and started grabbing me was just freaking insane. So you know what? Very humbling experience. But you know what? That means I'm hot. So I don't even care. Yes. But anyway, many a men have simped over me because I'm hot. And you know what? I don't even care about my personality because you know what? Looks do take you places. They get you free stuff. Even if you look like a rat.
Damn.
Damn. I would like to just clarify the fact that for everyone out there listening, especially to the females out there,
The females.
if you are in a friend group with guys, period, if there are guys in your friend group, all of them at least once have had a crush on you. That's just how it works.
Yeah. I will say this. I was never super arrogant about it. I never flaunted it. It was something that I just kind of like, I kind of mutually agreed unless they tell me it's none of my business. You know?
Right.
You're right. So that's kind of the attitude I had about it. But it did make me very, very paranoid that every single man I would meet ever would like have feelings for me, and it made me anxious beyond belief. Because I swear, the amount of lengths that men will go to simp after you and then get pissed when you don't reciprocate, and it's like, bro, it's cool that you did that and all, and you gave me free stuff, but I literally owe you nothing.
Well, see, that's the problem. I'm standing as a firm simp to say that people who do that aren't simping. That is presenting a fake version of you just to gain their interest. That's not simping.
Right.
Simping is doing literally whatever you want to in order to like get the attention and be there for that person.
I would like to point out, ever since I got that monitor, I don't think he ever talked to me again. He's just been busy with deployment.
Well, I mean, that's fair.
So that is a legitimate simp story, Steven.
Right.
Before you slap me with the third wheel status.
I'm not saying that your story is simping. I'm just saying that if there are guys out there who are just like, I gave her this, I gave her that, and she still didn't reciprocate. I was such a simp. It's like, bro, no, you weren't. You did that all trying to like gain a relationship out of it. Simping literally just means that you don't care if you're a friend or not, or whatever your status is. You're still just going to do whatever it is that you want to, that person needs, because you like that person. That's what that is. There's no gain out of simping. That's not simping if
Yeah.
we're looking to achieve something out of it.
Please do not call other people simps and bully them for it, because I can honestly say, since the word simp has emerged, I have seen so many less guys genuinely trying to be nice to women because they don't want to be labeled a simp. I was talking to my boyfriend about it, and he literally said if I ever called him a simp while he was pursuing me, he would have given up really, really quick.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah. Like, he was so open and honest about it. He's like, yeah, like, maybe if other people called me that, I wouldn't mind as much, but you, nope, you're done. You're done.
Amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So,
I
as a
stand and give
disclaimer,
applause.
just as a disclaimer, in calling other men simps, you are literally, I think that it's the goal to take other nice, genuinely kind men out of circulation so that way women have to deal with their bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
no, for
in
sure.
comparison, I'm not as terrible as Dudley douchebag over there.
Not as.
Dudley douche. No, yeah, but
Oh.
that's totally a fair comment. Brandon, we'll let you talk about your story here in a
Yeah,
second.
go ahead, bud.
Okay. So both of these stories happened in second grade. They're both unsuccessful.
Wow.
This is very
And
early.
Second
they were
grade.
they were both over the same girl.
So juicy. Please do so.
Dude,
Oh my god.
That's amazing. I love that they're the same person within the same grade level.
And they're
awesome.
both unsuccessful. So I just okay. I'll tell the shorter one first. Yeah, so I was also I went to an elementary school in the Sacramento area. It was more in Folsom just because that's where I lived at the time. But it was considered, yeah, Sacramento area. Basically growing up in elementary school, like up until like third grade, I had just one of those, just elementary school crushes on this girl, and we'll call her Kay because we're gonna
so
stick
cute,
with the
man. You're so adorable.
I could have sworn you already used K in another story. So is this the same girl? Give us the
I
deets.
would
No,
love
no,
that
this
to be
is
the
no,
same girl
no, no,
that you
no.
tried to
Okay.
ask out at homecoming.
If you're referring to the homecoming, this is a completely different girl. No, yeah, this is not one of those.
But let's just take a second and imagine that it is.
That would have made this 100. That would have made the homecoming story 100 times worse. Like,
that it would be the third time.
yeah. So yeah, Kay. I've had a crush on Kay for a while. I mean, but I'm still very introverted, but
Shy, timid
especially
lad.
then. Yes, exactly. Was a young lad who was shy and timid. And yeah, so I just never put myself out there, and like, yeah, I just kind of kept to myself. I just quietly had a crush on Kay. Looking back, I feel like this instance is one of the reasons I continue to just keep to myself at times and not put myself out there, because what happened was, just for context, second grade me, just pretty much early elementary school me, was obsessed with natural disasters. Yeah, I was just obsessed.
It's a
And
very early age of a psychopath, but
so on this particular day, I just saw on the news that it was saying something about there being a flood. It was gonna flood in Sacramento or something like that. And yeah, second grade me didn't put together that it would be like, because I think it really ended up being a flash flood kind of thing. And just it never ended up like completely flooding. It was just, there's just an inch or two of water on the roads and stuff. It wasn't like catastrophic flooding. But and 2nd-year-old me, in my mind, it was like, holy shit, it's gonna like flood, like the house is gonna be destroyed and like
Noah's Ark is gonna come in across the horizon.
Yeah. So again, I don't know what my thought process was, but you know what? I was just super pumped up about it, and I wanted to share that with someone.
I love the direction that this is going in. I love it.
So instead of just telling my friends at the time, I was like, you know what? This would be a great opportunity to like say something to Kay.
Oh yeah.
And
There's a world, man. You gotta be like, hey, you and me, we're the last men and women alive. Like, you wanna do this?
Let's just say that theoretically, this flash flood kills everyone but you and me. Would you go out?
You know, just theoretically.
So, and the way I went about this was completely wrong too, because again, as you kind of said before, like when someone simps or whatever you want to like, it's not really you, and I feel like that's a good way to phrase this because I did not approach this in like a shy and timid manner. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be loud. I'm gonna like announce it to her. So in before school started and stuff, like it started with homeroom stuff, like there'd be like a 10-minute period of just where the teacher arrived in the classroom and was setting up and stuff. So we had like that 10 minutes just to do whatever, get ready for the day. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I need to do this now. For some reason, I just need to do this right now.
Well, because you have 10 minutes of prep time.
Yeah. And, so Kay was with 2 of her friends, I believe, and I was like, you know what? It's okay. I just gotta look past it. I just gotta do this now. So I like come from the corner of the room, like I'm jogging, like slight faster jog, like I'm almost running at that point. I like to get her attention, so she looks over, like and then right before I go in front of her, I do like a little leap thing. I just leap, and I just stop on the ground, like right in front of her, just to get to her attention. I throw out my arms and I say, "There's gonna be a flood in Sacramento." She looks at me. She looks at me. Her face goes dead, and she says, "I live in Sacramento." And I'm like, "Oh no!"
Look at her and say, "Damn, me too." Shit.
I'm like, "Oh shit." And the way I handled that news was I turned around and I literally collapsed on a desk. Like I face planted on the desk because I just died. I died. I was, oh my god. So yeah, it was not a good way, not a good first impression talking point.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. That sounds like the best way to get your 2nd grade crush.
I think the worst part about it is that I felt so bad that I just kind of shut down. There was no follow up. It was just because, yeah, I was just absolutely mortified.
Your family's dying. Anyways, you want to go like, on a date or something?
Yeah. Anyway, so this leads on to the second story. It's not connected, but it happened afterward. So I don't know. Did your guys' elementary schools ever had like well, I'm guessing they did because it's a pretty big thing. But did you guys have Red Ribbon Week, like,
no,
or some variation of it?
I remember we did, but I don't remember what it was for.
Define Red Ribbon Week.
Yeah, we called it Red Ribbon Week. It was mostly just like the main point of it was to just like do the whole like say no to drugs kind of thing, and
Oh, I remember. I think that's like strictly.
anti-bullying stuff like that.
That is a California thing.
Okay.
Okay, I thought it was strictly like a Catholic school thing, but I definitely remember. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember a lot of other schools doing it, but all of the teachers at my school who, because they randomly drew names out of a hat for a demonstration, all of the quote unquote like drug users were like the best kids in class. And the teachers were like, "Oh, he could never." And now they all do drugs.
Damn.
It's weird how that works.
Oh, so yeah, I was just saying, and usually at the end of the weeks, on the end of the Red Ribbon weeks or whatever, on the Fridays, there would be like a special guest kind of thing, whether it was like the fire department coming and doing a demonstration or something. Like there was one time they brought like that I don't know how to describe it or what it's called, but it's like that car accident simulator, like if you're not wearing a seatbelt, where they just have like a totaled car suspended in the air just on like these axles attached at the ends.
Yeah,
it just
right.
spins really fast, and they just kind of showed us what would happen if you weren't wearing a seatbelt and stuff like that. It'd be stuff like that. And so second grade ribbon week. Yeah, so at the time my stepdad after serving in the army for a long time, he ended up working in the fire department. And he actually, I can't remember how it came about. I just know that my mom kind of like helped reach out to like the school and stuff and offered for him to be like the people who kind of came and did a demonstration thing, and the school said yes. So yeah, my stepdad was basically they were gonna come in instead of like their fire trucks and stuff, because he in the army he flew helicopters and stuff like that. So he flew the helicopters and for the fire department. So basically what they were gonna do was just fly a helicopter in, because we had a big like asphalt just kind of I don't know, play area for recess. It was fairly large, like enough for them to land a helicopter in, and that was just kind of the plan. And
drugs. Here's a helicopter.
I feel like I know where your story's going, but I wanna hold on to this.
So as soon as, because my mom gave me a heads up, like, oh yeah, she was able to help set this up and stuff. I was like, oh, that's cool. So as I was hearing this, I was like, be really cool if like my classmate, if my classmates knew that was my stepdad and stuff, and you know what, who'd really be impressed? Kay. Like if like
Hell
like
yeah,
what
you would.
like what if he called me up there and said, oh, like, it just had me stand there with him or something like that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna go the extra mile and have this helicopter tail a flag that said, "Will you go out with me?"
oh no! This was second grade. I was not up that level. Like
you hadn't reached that level of simp yet.
Yeah. I just kind of casually mentioned, like, hey, it would be just to my mom and my stepdad, like, hey, it would be cool if, you called me up there so I could stand with you while you did that stuff, just very slack.
No, way to not call attention to yourself.
We have talked
really
about
humble.
how Brandon has the smoothest charisma around.
And I was like, don't make a big deal out of it. Just so just call me up there with you, just so I can stand next to you. Like, because I was very torn between because again, I don't like attention, but I just thought, this like I was gonna do it, like, just
you had to come back from telling her that her home was gonna be flooded.
yeah. And yeah, I was like, if this is a chance to impress Kay, I just gotta do it. So, and yeah, long story short, yeah, my stepdad said he would do that for, and so, it happened in the morning too. So, yeah, end of the Red Ribbon Week, they basically, the principal called all the classes to come outside, and just kind of sit in front of their classroom and stuff because the asphalt play area was like right in front of the classes. So we just kind of sat down or crisscross applesauce, whatever, in front of the classrooms. And like I said, this was early in the morning, so I didn't really have a chance to like talk to anybody or just, anything like that. So it was just kind of a rushed thing. And so, yeah, my stepdad, he lands the helicopter in there, and yeah, he's with his crew and stuff, and they come out and they start talking. So, and then my stepdad, after he's done kind of doing an introduction, he just kind of says, is Brandon back out in the crowd? Like, is out there somewhere? And so I just like, I didn't think this through. Like, I was like, holy shit, I'm about to stand in front of a lot of kids. This is like, so I just kind of awkwardly like get up, and I'm just kind of walking over there. So, and then, I just kind of stand next to him, and like, I'm not looking to see who's in the crowd and stuff. Like, I'm just nervous. Like, I'm just trying to look straight. Like, yeah. And he's like, and basically what my stepdad did to make it make sense for me being up there was that, oh yeah, Brandon's mom is the one who was able to make this happen today, and he's like, make sure to thank her if you ever see her, stuff like that. And I was like, okay, we're cool. So
Played it off real smooth.
I'm after just kind of standing up there for a while they were talking and stuff, because they actually brought K9 and stuff like that. They actually showed there's I think they were doing like a combined thing with the police department where they showed how they trained their canines and stuff with the arm padding and stuff. So they were just kind of doing that demonstration, and I was still standing up there. And after a while, I was like, okay, I'm calm now. So I just kind of started scanning the crowd, seeing if I could see Kay, and I wasn't seeing anything. I was like, you know what, I'm just probably really nervous. Like, I'll see if she's here afterwards. And so,
how tragic would it be if she was absent that day?
So, anyway, yeah. So
wait,
yeah,
was
the day kind of just goes on, and yeah, we're finished with the demonstration, and we all, we after it's done, we just go back into our classrooms, and finally it's just our class, or my class, so I could actually see who's here and not. So I'm scanning the room, and I'm not seeing Kay. I'm not seeing Kay. And,
oh my god, I'm a psychic.
I was just kind of freaking out, so I just didn't know what to think of it, so I just kind of continued on with my day. So then came back to class the next day, and Kay was there, and I'm just kind of happening to walk by her when I hear one of her friends say, "Oh, so how was Disneyland?"
That's so unfortunate.
She was not in class for that like, she just did a random day trip to Disneyland for some reason. And on that day,
it's almost as if she knew.
How dare she? It's disgusting that she didn't stay at school for you to overcome your introvertedness just to show her how cool you are.
Oh, I feel bad for thinking it now, but in that moment, I was like, what was all that for? What that was all for nothing. Like,
I just love how this is all like based in second grade, and you have no recent stories. That's what I think is really funny.
Oh, I honestly, it was probably because of those experiences where I was like, you know what, it's not worth it.
Maybe
Like,
he just doesn't. Maybe he does have recent stories. These ones are just the most traumatic it's ever been.
I actually can't recall like recent ones that like went down horribly as those two. I think those ones are just, I mean, obviously if they stayed with me for this long, I think it's enough to say that they left an impact on me enough to tell them.
That's fair.
Brandon said, "Fuck bitches, I don't need them in my life."
But oh yeah, no, it was yeah.
Nah, I have a really short and quick one
All
to
right,
wrap things up, unless you guys have something else that you want to chime
that
in with.
No, go
I've
ahead.
yeah, I've said
Alrighty.
my piece.
So yeah, this was an interesting one just because yeah, it's gonna be short and quick and to the point. I was sipping for this one girl that I had known for a while. I'm gonna refer to her as A, and she had grown up with me in church. I knew her dad. Her dad was a pastor at one of the churches, and he was such a really cool guy, always getting involved and whatnot, and made like he was like that really cool youth pastor, except he was the head pastor at one of the churches, and so it was just really cool seeing him get super involved, and so I was simping for his daughter and whatnot, and like the level of simp I was doing for A, comparably with whatever letter I used for the other person, S,
S,
compared
yeah.
to S, was could be measured differently because while I was simping for S probably harder than I've simped for anyone else, I had bought her favorite Starbucks drink and brought it to school every
You knew her
single day.
favorite Starbucks drink?
Yes.
Dude, that's how you
Yes.
know you're a simp for real. Good for you.
Yes.
You're a real one.
I had bought her favorite Starbucks every single day and brought it to her in the morning
Every single
Every
day.
single
every
Whoa.
single day for almost a
Bro.
month. For
Oh.
almost a
Dude.
month.
Bruh.
I am
Bruh.
100% real. My bank account has seen
Like-
better days.
Oh my god. How old were you when this happened?
This was junior year.
Dude, oh my god, why? Dude, I would have anxiety just doing that once to someone I don't really know that well, but you did it for a month.
Because I'm a simp, okay? But okay, yeah, so anyways, yeah, for almost a month every single day. And this meant that not only did I make sure that I was at school before them, but also I was at school with their Starbucks before them. Meaning that I was at Starbucks, our school started at 8. I was made sure that I was there at almost like 7:30, 7:45, which means that I wanted to hit the Starbucks that was by my school by around 7:15, which means that I was leaving my house almost an hour earlier than I would normally leave for school to
Damn,
do
you
this.
actually put in effort.
And so I brought her favorite drink almost every single day, and this kind of piggybacks just a tiny bit on homecoming story, except we have this thing called like fall bash, which is like a very casual dance that's not a dance. It was just like, hey,
Oh.
come here, hang out. There's gonna be music, but it's not an official dance. Like it's not formal. Just come dressed as whatever. And I was just like, all right, I'm gonna ask A to this dance. Just whatever, kind of whatnot. Just see if they go. I went so far that I made a fucking sign.
Damn.
Like I put in so much effort, which is like setting a bar for how much I simped for S, because on the levels this seems like a lot, but it's not, and it's not anywhere close.
What did your sign say? Go to the dance with me or no more Starbucks? You're getting cut off.
Cut off your supply.
No, I did some weird play on words to her favorite song. I don't even remember what it said, because after
You
all
knew
this,
her
I was
favorite
really...
song too.
I
Like,
You know
knew
what?
a lot, Brandon. Okay.
You know what? Good for you. I never got a sign. And that's tragic. I
Well,
never got a
Well,
sign.
the funny thing is neither did she.
Oh wait.
What happened?
So I made her a sign. I was like, I'm gonna ask her to this dance, and it was like a play on words to one of her favorite songs or whatnot. And I was just like, okay, I'm bringing you. I have Starbucks for you, and I'm bringing it over. And she's with like a crowd of her friends, and I was like, oh God. Okay, well, here we go. I have it with me. I guess I'm gonna do this, and I do it in front of her friends, and they're all of her friends are freaking out, and she looks at all of them, looks at me, and she was just like, I didn't know if I don't know if I want to go to that. So it's a maybe. Like I might go to that. That would be cool. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I walked away defeated
You
after that
took
because
the
it was
sign.
like I walked away with the sign like dragging on the floor. Is how
Oh.
defeated I was, and I like went back to my locker, and my locker's like right next to my friend Eric,
Dang.
and had the speed in which I shoved that sign in my locker and closed it before Eric noticed what I was holding.
Oh.
Was like lightning McQueen speed. I was just like, nope, I am not. I am nope. No one will know about this. Nope. And
Not.
literally, I didn't. We usually like would talk to each other during like classes because both of us would be bored. And I hadn't had like a text from her all day, and I was just like, well, she's probably just busy in class or whatnot. Until like we hit lunchtime, which is 3 hours, 4 hours after that, and two of her friends come up and are just like, so she doesn't want to,
Oof.
but she really appreciates the effort. She just it doesn't want to. She's kind of shy, really socially awkward. And then her friend reaches her hand and pats me on the shoulder and went, "Good try, bud," and walked away. And I went,
Oh.
Dude, that's so bad.
I went from defeated to like having that moment where like everything flashed back to me, and I was like, was I alive? Did I consciously make the decision to go do that? And sat down.
That's rough.
I sat down at my table with my friends, and they were just looking at me and just like, what happened? Who are those people? Because those people were her friends at that time were freshmen. She was a sophomore, and they were just like, who are they? Because the other freshmen. I was like, no idea. And I played it off, but like I didn't know who they are. I just recognized them because they were in that crowd of whatever screaming pigeon noise when I pulled up the sign. But yeah, that was an epic failure, and I was very disappointed. But we actually stopped talking after that.
Oh, oof.
Did not say anything to each other ever again.
Damn.
But you know what?
Those are the ones
okay.
that suck the most. Like,
Yeah, well, I was okay after it. I was just like, well, you know what? That was probably the most confident I've ever been. All right, whatever. That's a very clear indication of just a no. And so I was like, well, I guess I can. While I'm still on that sleep cycle of waking up, I guess I can go get myself Starbucks for a couple of days. But yeah, any last thoughts?
I don't have anything else to add.
Alrighty.
People simp over me because I'm really hot. But also, if any of you listeners out there are interested in being a guest on our podcast, next week we are going to kind of set some guidelines up for that. If there's any sort of way you want to be in it or thinking about it, please contact us.
I think my email is attached to both to all platform profiles. So if you click on like, the actual profile, you should get my email and contact me. If I'm going to be like a college professor, if your header isn't good, I'm going to delete it. so make sure
please
it's
make this. Make it very professional. Please choose a topic that you would like to discuss for that episode, and we will all talk about it, see which one we find the most interesting, and we would love to have you on the show whenever it's most convenient.
Yeah, but like Grace said, we'll get into that next week. More importantly, right now, we need to know who's the third wheel. And Brandon, I'm going to start with you because I think it's funny to put you on the spot first.
To decide who's the third wheel?
Yeah, you get to cast the first stone.
Oh, damn. Okay,
Are you without sin, Brandon?
Oh, damn. That's a loaded question. Anyways, that's another topic for later. So
that's a topic for a
both good stories. I don't know. I think if I had to pick, I'm gonna have to say Grace is the third wheel because Steven quite literally crashed and burned.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because you said you burned your leg as well, right?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
close to second-degree burns. Like,
Yeah, no, you literally crashed and burned, buddy, so...
I love that. I love that so much. All right. Well, he cast the stone at Grace. Grace, what's your statement?
All right. I really want to say Steven because I don't know, man. It felt like a motor. I don't know. It felt like a story about you just crashing a bike. You didn't really mention the girl a lot, but yeah. Unfortunately, I want to, but I think unfortunately I am going to have to vote myself. I really cannot necessarily. What's the word? I cannot relate to you guys. I have never screamed that there was going to be a flood in my crush's face, and I have never crashed and been neglected by my family, even though I have medical problems. So, you know
Really?
what?
You've
You
never
guys
laid on
are
the
just.
ground in agony and had your family just go,
You
get
know
out of the
what?
way.
I will willingly take the L on this one because I really don't want to win. I feel bad for you guys.
Damn. Damn.
Steven,
Well,
Steven,
yeah,
what were your thoughts?
I would have to say, because at first I was leaning a lot towards Brandon purely because of the fact that like how you described it, you were saying that like you weren't you said that you were like ashamed and like wondering why you did all of that and whatnot. And like as far as like simping goes, it was more of just like you acted like a crazy ape and told her that there was that there was a flood in her hometown. And then when she was like, "I live there," you were like, "Oh." And then, and then you walked away dragging your monkey knuckles away.
Yeah.
So like I just the image of you just like flopping all over desks and sprinting at her makes me think that like other than the fact that you told her that there's a flood coming for her city, she was more afraid of the fact that you were just gonna pounce on her and beat her up.
Oh,
But
I
yeah, but you did go that you did cover your ground by by using that smooth charisma to convince your stepdad to have you go into a helicopter that she never saw.
I do want to mention there I think there was a yearbook picture uh
Of you in a helicopter.
of me
I bet
just
he still
standing
looks
there.
back at that yearbook today and is like, damn, I could have been with him.
I doubt that.
I thought you were saying that Brandon looks back at that picture and he is just like, damn, if only. Ripped that page out of his yearbook, has it framed on his
Damn, I wonder what that second grader looks like today.
Actually, that yearbook was actually destroyed by one of my dogs at my dad's house.
Yeah,
It got ripped.
yeah.
Interesting.
Your
It
dog
Okay.
ate your
actually
yearbook.
did, and I think that photo was like one of the only surviving ones. Like,
Oh, that's really funny, actually.
Looks like God doesn't want you to forget.
You have a yearbook of second grade, and it's 5 pages, and and it's just each time you simped for this girl, someone took a picture of it. You just have that would be hilarious.
oh, it was
But
bad.
yeah, you did win it right there with having a helicopter scene, and she didn't look, she didn't watch. So I would have to say, yeah. Apart from the fact that Grace, you made a man. Well, you didn't make a man do anything. A man gave you a monitor.
Yeah,
But
I'm
also,
just that hot. I get free stuff all the time.
I feel for the man who swipes right on a picture of a rat. I feel for you, man.
Yeah.
That's gotta be an all-time low, and I feel you, man. I feel you.
For real.
That initial reaction of just like, I don't know why I swiped right on a rat is probably one of the funniest quotes I've ever heard in my life.
I like how he did it and then questioned his judgment.
Yeah, he was just like, absolute. Wait, why?
Yeah.
Just that super confident decision, but having absolutely no idea the reasoning behind. But yeah, other than the fact that yeah, you had a lot of men simp for you. It ended with you benefiting out of everything. And I know these are simp stories, and that's purely it. But like you said, yeah, I feel bad for the men out here.
Yeah,
I feel bad
I
for us,
really do
man.
feel bad for y'all.
Gotta,
It's
gotta,
horrible.
gotta feel bad for us. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, Grace, you were the third wheel of this episode.
My last note, I'm just gonna leave there. Okay, ask if you guys are out there. I will force the both of them out for an episode. Girl talk for real. Tell me how y'all felt.
Oh god.
If as long
Tell
as we
me,
leave
did you think
A
that
out of
Brandon's
that.
helicopter picture was cool? Did you like the Starbucks? Do you regret saying no because you stopped getting Starbucks in the morning? I want to know.
You like the
Give me all
scar
the
on
give me all the details.
You like the permanent scar on the inside of my knee from
Well, she didn't even just see the yearbook picture. She just happened to skip over it. She's like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't there Red Ribbon Week. I'll just skip over."
I like how you know she skipped over it too. Like that little part of you clung and hoped that she would look at you in the yearbook.
Damn. Alright, well, other than that, that's the end of the episode. Grace, you have been named the second unanimous third wheel. I never thought that would happen. I thought Brandon would have just outed himself on the first episode, and that would have been the last time anyone ever voted for themselves.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately.
that's unfortunate. Well, Brandon will still be named the first, the first of both of those categories. So it's
Damn.
still a thing to be written down in the history books. Other
In the
than that,
history books.
I want a Reddit to be made for us and someone just to keep track of of all of these different things that occur. Just who's been the third wheel the most after a little bit of time, who's been named unanimous third wheel the most, and then keep track of if we ever have guests on the show who are named third wheel, have their names be listed in the third wheel Hall of Fame.
I want our own Wikipedia page personally.
Absolutely. Someone make that
In
right
time.
now.
In time.
This episode is sponsored by Wikipedia.
The free encyclopedia.
The free encyclopedia.
Not
All
for
right.
long. That's why you need to go out there and donate money to them while they're still free.
Absolutely.
So they're paying us to tell you to pay them.
Yep. So that
they can pay
that
us.
money. Yeah. So that they can give us that money. All right. Well, anyways, thank you guys for listening to this very chaotic episode of Third Wheel. We hope you enjoyed the simp talk and especially making fun of mine and Brandon's torment as we have grown up and kind of just watched our simpy natures just cause us more and more.
Personally,
more
this was a great
sadness.
episode for me.
Yeah, I don't think Grace really lost anything as far as this conversation.
No, I didn't. I really didn't.
She got
Hey,
to
at the
just
end of the
sit
day,
back.
I might be the third wheel, but I still have my free stuff.
She may be the third wheel, but she still benefited from other people who have gone through the same pain as Brandon and I.
No regrets.
Well, because Grace is the third wheel of the episode, she will have the honor of picking next week's topic. So
Yep.
Stay tuned for that. Grace, do you have any final words that you want to say?
Good luck, boys. I'm gonna make next week hell.
That's
Oh god. Oh boy.
That sounds awesome. All right. Well, again, everyone, thank you for listening. We will have a new episode of this podcast every Monday at midnight. As soon as it turns from Sunday to Monday, there will be a new episode. You can find us on all podcast streaming platforms. I said that so weird. You can also find us on YouTube for those of you who don't want to go to like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We also have a YouTube. Whatever you're listening on, go ahead, subscribe, and follow so you can get notified when we upload new
Don't forget to
episodes.
keep your ears open next week when we talk about welcoming guests to the podcast.
Absolutely. I will probably put my email in the description of the episode so that you can also contact us. Anyways, thanks you again, guys, for listening, and remember, in this case especially, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being the third wheel.
Absolutely not.